That is what Survivor's all about. We had our first blind side, and I feel like I got to catch my breath after watching that. I mean, that was crazy. That's this is one of those episodes you have to watch it again just to wrap your head around all the different possibilities. Okay, now my special guest is trying to get on live right now, and I'm just waiting for her. So while I'm waiting for her, I guess I will. I guess I'll ramble. But holy moly, that was nuts. That just I I don't even know where to begin. I need to watch that like 3 or 4 times. I mean, Sabaya, obviously she was blindsided. She's the first blindside of the season, but hard to blame her. You know what I mean? I like, you know, she had that nice piece of, you know, jewelry, that immunity idol. I mean, if I was her, I hate to say this, I think I would have done the same thing as her. Um, she said it only works on the phone or tablet. I'm on computer. Uh-oh, Glow. I don't think my special guest says it's the going live thing is only going to work on her. I think she just said her tablet or phone, not her computer. So I'll keep talking hopefully until she can figure it out. Or you can just chime in here if you want, if you can if you can message back. So oh hold on, she's saying this is episode 3. This is the third time I've done this. Yeah, Robin, we're gonna be talking in a second here, and I am on a computer. Okay, my head around how I would have played that at tribal. It's. I mean, Emily. How about Emily with a boss moves going right up to Caleb and saying, hey, you're not saving me. I'm saving your beep. I have a phone. So what do I need to do? I've never gone live on phone. Here. Uh, because I want to start at the beginning of the episode, work my way through, but I can't get past. Can you send it to me in a text? Mine. Can you send it to me? Text. Emily lost all trust in Sabaya when she told her about the idol. Isn't that crazy, Sherry? She really did. She really lost all the trust. But I mean, it's really hard. This was high level play, guys. It's really hard to fault anybody in any of these decisions. I could put myself in the same position as them and flip a coin. Caleb, I flip a coin. Emily, flip it. The only person that really didn't have a tough decision tonight was Sean. Sean has to feel kind of dumb, like he's on the outs. But I mean, if you're Emily, what? I mean, you've had no power this whole game. You've been kissing butt. You're 7 days in. You've been to tribal three. This is your third tribal. You do trust Caleb. Emily trusts Caleb. We know that. She didn't really trust Sabaya. So it was I mean, she could have gone either way. I mean, look, if this doesn't forge her bond with Caleb, nothing will. But I really had a good feeling about all of them working together, just because they were finally sharing information that you wouldn't normally share. And I guess ultimately, that was, Sabaya's mistake, was sharing that information. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, everybody was showing. This was, I think the title of this episode should have been "How to Trust." Okay, here we go. I got her. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, I see. I hit add. Where'd you go? Glow, try it again. I hit add. Ah! Touchdown. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm gonna see it. Is there any way I can turn this thing up higher?
Go
I've
for it.
never gone live on the phone ever. How you doing, babes?
Well, good. Hey, so I have this is Glow, everybody. Survivor Glow. She's better known. I have a confession to make, and I don't believe I've ever told you this. You ready?
I'm ready.
You were my first Survivor friend. So back in 2009, when I walked across America, there was a lady named Survivor Glow that reached out to me. That was back, I believe, on Facebook, when your first name could be Survivor and your last name could be Glow. Like you didn't have to use your real name; you could just use whatever name you wanted. But this is back in like '09, if I'm not mistaken, and I did not know you outside of Facebook or Survivor or anything. So yeah, as far as I can recall, you were my first Survivor friend.
Actually, I was Survivor Guru Glow. Did you know the story behind that?
Give it to it. Refresh me.
I was founded on YouTube. All right, back when reality TV started, like after the first year, it was me. To my knowledge, that far back, there were
Wow.
only two people doing any kind of reporting, and it was me and somebody named Poison Stinger.
Oh wow. Is that person
Can you
still
hear
around?
me?
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't know. I haven't heard from him in 10 years or more. So I started acting like a comic reporter.
Ah,
But I always in the comic mode, like a comic, like a stand-up comic about each episode. In the local news here in Chesapeake, Norfolk, Virginia, Hampton Roads, they saw me on YouTube and loved the joking way I was doing, and they hired me for a whole season as a reality hosting my thoughts after each episode of Survivor. And I
that's
used to
awesome.
say, ha ha ha, I'm a survivor and I didn't have to suffer the elements.
Yeah. I remember after I got done walking across the country and Lynn Spillman had just absolutely destroyed me. And I went back. I was over my friend's house, Jared, who lives in Phoenix. And I remember walking outside and talking to you in his front yard for like an hour, and him coming out and being like, hey, you coming back in, man? And actually, so he's going to be visiting me in a week. So I see him pretty often. But yeah, I'll never forget that. The first time I talked to somebody that I didn't know, that, just, back then it was like, what, you have a friend on the internet and you've never met them? Like, that's weird. But now it's like half the people in my life are friends on the internet that I've never met in person. So just a change in
I
time,
was
I guess.
enjoying, yeah, I was enjoying the things you were telling me as you were traveling and some people you met on your journey. Oh, you had some remarkable stories about, how kind people could be on the journey and what you were doing. That's terrible.
Well, believe it or not, that journey continues. I would give anything for closure, but what the heck? We're 20, what are we, 20, like
Well,
20
what
years
in the
in? So,
world is it that, hold on, I'm not going to sit right here and kill our chances. But what in the world can Jesse Cannonball and Bomb and his staff not find interesting compared to the first two that were on the show? Come on, let's go there.
look, I don't know. The theme this season, it seems like all the players are 28 years old. They're all highly intelligent, and there's no one over. There's two people over 40. I just turned 40 myself, so that doesn't make me feel real good when there's only two people over 40 and everybody else is 28, and they're all just kind of smart. I won't say nerdy, but like just highly intelligent people. I I see a lot of but I don't want all strategic players. You know what I mean? Throw in a couple idiots now and then. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. All I know is they don't cast villains anymore. And those days seem to be over, which, well, okay, let me say this. They don't cast villains. However, Robin, who is also from the same area as Emily, did not like Emily. She was my first, when I first went live. And I just read your comment. So Robin has come around to Emily. I think we all have. Emily's grown on all of us because, quite frankly, we've watched her grow in 3 episodes, and she's not, the mean, cynical type of villain, hiding socks and stuff like that, burning socks, whatever. But like, she definitely was not very friendly initially, and she seems to pick up on her cues. The famous last line of her was when she said, "I either want to get voted off first, so I'm not wasting my time, or go all the way to the end." And after these last 3 episodes, maybe she does make it to the end. I don't know, but she's playing a game, that's for sure. I mean, gosh,
Well,
that.
she can thank Caleb can thank her for him still being there tonight.
Isn't it ironic? First time he saved her, now she saved him. I mean, that's a bond. I thought him and Sabaya had a good enough bond, but I mean, that's a bond. I mean, those two. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around what I would have done tonight. Usually, the producers, they only give you so much, and you can kind of hypothesize. But between Sabaya, Emily, and Caleb, I I don't know what I would have done. I mean, I think all of them kind of did the right thing. You know what I mean? You could have flipped a coin on any of their decisions. I can't really fault any of them. Usually, it's more black and white than that. You know what I mean? I don't know what I would have
Yep.
done. I'm stressed. I'm
I
usually stressed
actually
watching this.
I actually would have done the move tonight because she knew that Sabaya had not been 100% truthful with her. So
Yeah.
she put her life and Caleb's life into her second instinct, and she was on the money, and it worked out.
What would have happened? So that immunity idol, if Sabaya would have played it, then what? Caleb would have gone home because he was the only other one that got a vote. Is that right?
I got to think.
On a revote.
Caleb
Okay.
got 1 vote, and Sabaya got 2. If Sabaya had voted, it would have been a tie vote.
So then it would have. So then they would have revoted, but then you had to vote for somebody different, right? So then it would have been
Yeah, and
Sean.
then if they were, and they probably, oh hell, on
Okay.
a revote.
I think you could have had 2 revotes. Guys, if you're having trouble following this, totally understandable because I'm having trouble following this. If Sabaya would have played her immunity idol, then no votes could be cast against her. There would have been a revote. But then you could only revote, if I recall correctly, for the 2 people that didn't get votes, which would have been Sean and Emily. But then if Sean and Emily would have been the only 2 people you could vote for, it still would have been a tie again. And then you would have had to have drawn rocks after that, I guess.
I think so. But
Oh
the
my
thing
God.
is, if she used her idol, Caleb would have gone home.
Yeah. I'm sorry because wait, Kayla, you're right. Wait, if she would have used her idol on herself, you're right. I'm sorry. Holy crap, guys! I'm telling you, this. I'm learning through this my fatal flaw on Survivor because I just need more time to think through these. I cannot think that quickly. It would have taken me half a day on the island to think through all these different
Hold on,
scenarios.
hold on. Can you turn my volume up?
Hello,
I'm trying to
stranger.
get my volume up on this.
Um. Okay, we'll come back to the end of the episode
There,
because
can
that's
you
gonna.
turn my volume up for me?
Yeah. I just need to talk louder. Um. So let's start with the very beginning. Sabaya gave the shot in the dark back to Emily. She didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? That alone, I thought was enough to build their bond and trust. But with Sabaya not having any, with Sabaya not having a no vote, that idol was crucial. But she must have told Emily right before tribal because otherwise Caleb would have been like, "Hey Emily, do you know about this melting
I knew
thing?"
Sabaya was going. I knew Sabaya was going. I felt like. that she might have picked up on something we didn't see on camera when she said, "Are we all good?" And then
Uh,
my gut said she's going home.
because she had to ask that because she didn't she wasn't confident enough to know.
And then it was
Whew.
too late.
That
After she didn't play it, after she still had a minute to play it. And she did that. I said, I think Caleb's going to be safe. I don't know what your read on that was, but I thought
I'm still
she
trying to
picked
figure
up
it out.
on something that made her uncomfortable because she said it on nationwide TV.
I mean, I'm 15 minutes into this live with you, and I'm still trying to figure it out. That could have gone so many different ways. I mean, had Emily stuck with Sabaya, Caleb was going home. No question about it, right? Would have been a blindside. Um, was there an Emily vote cast? No, nobody voted
There was
against
no
Emily.
Emily votes.
No,
No, I didn't see no Emily votes.
yeah, because Sean voted for Caleb and Sabaya voted for Caleb. And no, what am I saying?
No, Savaya did. No, Savaya lost her vote. So if she went to merge, the idol would kick in. She either had to use it at tribal tonight, or if she didn't vote and gave up her vote, I think I'm correct. She idol that could be used at any idol to merge or something like that. I'm not sure I'm correct on that.
Yeah, yeah. After, yeah, I I think that's correct. I mean, holy moly, that was high level Survivor. That really was. I mean, that was. I mean, man, there's a bunch of players out there. Um, all right, starting from the beginning, Jake falls in the fire. I thought he was when he was starting to faint. I thought he was going to fall in the fire. I like that he finally is branching out a little bit and made some inroads with Kendra because I don't like that girl alliance thing they got going on. I don't. I just it just doesn't seem like that's. I don't know. This might be my famous last words. I just don't think that alliance is going to pan out. But when I wonder if they brought the medical crew in when he fainted because had he like fainted in the fire, he was done. You know, because you're not coming back from that. Um, I love that they.
Did that happen last week? Did that happen last week? Because last week I missed it. I fell asleep.
Uh, no. That happened at the beginning of this episode, probably like 5 minutes in, something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
I missed the first 8 minutes tonight.
okay.
I missed the first 8 minutes tonight of the show. The first 8 minutes, so I missed
Did,
that.
did you catch when Drew was caught digging and then he blamed Sifu on it for it?
I saw when the two guys were digging. Yes,
You did see that.
didn't
Okay.
he share it? And they both went digging for the idol or looking for a clue to the idol, and that's when they got caught. So they brought the girls in on it, and the girls started helping them look for the idol. Isn't that how that went down?
Yes. Yeah, and thank good. I mean, look, oh, we'll talk about that later in the episode, but man, that alliance was almost completely broken up over that because I mean, you could just see it on his face. He looked like Drew looked like Napoleon Dynamite. He just like he didn't know how to act when he got busted, and they probably should have just come clean sooner. But that whole hammer thing, we'll talk about that later on. Um, I thought it was interesting in the reward challenge that they sat out the two strongest guys for Bello. And then, as luck would have it, they needed those two strongest guys. Um, it was what Jake and Bruce at the immunity challenge. So kudos to them for um, planning ahead and saving them for the physical challenge, assuming that the immunity challenge was going to be a physical challenge. But they played that right. The Lulu winning thing, the music in the background was so dramatic over them winning. I'm like, I almost thought, okay, the music is so over the top, they're going to end up losing later because they're like really emphasizing Lulu winning here, which they should. I mean, they hadn't won anything so far, but it just felt like they went a little bit extra with the music and the theatrics behind them winning. But it was nice to see him win. You know, you can't help but feel bad for him. They've lost 6 days in a row worth of challenges and rewards and all that fun stuff. Um, my neighbor stopped by and asked me for some eggs, so I missed the next part. But I believe the next part was Caleb talking about restoring the vote gifting to Drew, which which Drew used to restore Dee's trust, if I got that right. Because when he went over there, I guess he couldn't keep it for himself. He wanted to restore that vote or that gift essentially, and he gave it to Drew. I'm not sure why he chose Drew. I didn't really see like why he chose him, but they just editors just didn't show us enough. I guess I don't know why he did that. Um, After that, then Julie was impressed by Caleb gathering info, and I'm thinking, Julie, why was that impressive to you? That should have been obvious. Of course, he's going to come over there and try to gather information from you. He wants to know, what's up with this tribe, who's doing what, blah, 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 blah. But it looks like they are going to
And the
accept
thing is,
Julie.
he was right out. The thing is, he didn't go on the sly talking to him. He came right out in the open, like there was nothing he could have done to hurt him. And
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty smart. That I'd like to get to know you each one on one.
So what
So
that
I
tribe
mean,
should
he
have,
didn't like make toys like with 2 or 3 on the side, like he was trying to do anything sneaky to leave with them, like in a batch. So coming out with the one-on-one was about the only way he could go to be able to pull off the advantage thing he had to give to anybody. Because he certainly
yes.
can't give it to one when there's 2 more with him.
I mean, you could have. It would have been interesting. It would have been kind of useless. But what that tribe should have done, knowing he was coming over, is been like, okay, no matter what, we're not letting this guy talk to us individually. They should have controlled that way better. When Caleb went over there, they should have said, "We're a strong tribe of 6. You can't talk to us individually," and it would have put him in a position where what's he going to do? You know what I mean? He's basically got to pick somebody in front of everybody, but that could have eliminated those side
That's
deals.
because that's because when he opened that up, they knew something was up with the one-on-one. And anybody that's played Survivor, a one-on-one means one of them's going to be the lucky number about whatever it's about. Now they can act all stupid about what they said they're going to do, but they all went on board regardless of what they said.
Yeah.
Because then in their head they said, well, if he's going to talk one-on-one and he's the one over here, the way Survivor's bringing in all these new twists, somebody's going to get something dropped in their lap, in some kind of way, which
Yeah.
that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. There was a season
None
a
of
few
these
years.
old immunity idol finds or anything like, the prehistoric times when the show started the first few years. You can, an idol can make you or kill you now when you get it,
I kind of
when you
wish
think
they
you
were
got it. An
easier.
advantage. I've got to say, if I went on the show, I don't think I'd want a damn advantage.
Well, Brandon turned it down last week, and that's it. That I guess that didn't work out too well for him. But oh man, that was nuts. That was I couldn't believe that they that early on in the episode they were talking about voting off Caleb, but they had to set the stage, and I just thought there's no way. Why will I just that blew my mind. But when they started talking about that, I was like, well, then they had to have lost immunity because they wouldn't be foreshadowing that, for no reason. They really didn't show too much of the other tribes. I mean, they showed Brando and Kelly. Eventually, they're going to need to choose a side, so that's going to get interesting because they've got to go one way or the other. They keep painting that picture that they're the swing votes, but they haven't needed to swing anything because they haven't lost. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Right.
Um, Dee and Julie, when they
What do
found
you,
that, give me your thoughts on that. What would you have done when you started pulling up that rope?
you broke up. I couldn't hear you. Are you
Oh,
talking about when they found the rope to the idol
when they found the
type
rope and they
thing?
pulled up, first of all, which is awesome. Kudos to Survivor production for thinking of putting a rope in the ground and then it leading to a hammer. That was awesome. But if that's you and you find that
Yeah.
hammer, what do you do with the hammer?
You got to bust something with it. And then they got to go have him busted by the water thing or whatever it was,
But
a
would you have?
rock.
I would
I
have if
mean,
I Dee and Julie, if I were them, especially after Austin and Drew kind of left them out of the whole thing to begin with, if I were those two and I thought they were, I would have ran right to the water thing. I wouldn't even have told Austin. And I mean, they hid the rope. Did they not tell? So why did they hide the rope? If they weren't gonna, if they were just gonna tell Austin and Drew anyway. I think they should have had it right to the water well and cracked it on their own. I don't think they should have told Austin and Drew, but they said that cemented their friendship basically. So we'll see. I don't know
That's
about
going
that
to be
one
a
though.
that's going to be a debated scene all over the internet
Oh
about
yeah,
exactly what you're talking about.
yeah,
That's going to be debated by everybody that's going to be reporting. Rob Cesarino is probably going to bring that up.
yeah,
Um, if you screw me, then I'm going to screw you back and take your idol. That's the
yeah,
way that play would have played with me. I'll screw you
yeah.
back. You
I,
screwed me, then you sucked up to me. You sucked up to me because you got busted. Well, I'm gonna have the idol, but guess what? I've got the idol, but yes, I will work with y'all.
Sherry just
But you
said the
didn't want
same
to do
thing. They
that
got
before.
busted. Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's your penalty. I got your idol because of how you treated me and my other buddy, the two girls.
yeah.
You screw me, I'm gonna screw you out of your freaking idol. That's the way that should have played.
So previous Survivor seasons, I feel like that would have happened, but they're casting these people that are just so nice. It's like I want to see somebody like, no, like you screwed me. That's what you get. You know what I mean? Not like, well, now I don't know. There's so many things happen in this episode that I just can't make up my mind which way I would have gone. Usually it's like, okay, I would have done this. Again, in this situation, it's like, gosh, I don't, I'm having a hard time deciphering what would have been the right thing to do. I really am. This was an episode that whoo wee, my head is still spinning.
Well,
Um,
there's pardon the expression. I'll use some four-letter word, but not the F word. My thing is, if my loyalties are being laid out there and then I find you deceiving that so-called what I think could be a possible loyalty alliance, if you
yeah,
screw me, here's me. I'm gonna act like you're that latrine. If you shit on me, I'm gonna shit on you. Now you suck up to me. I've got the idol, or go with them. But if
yeah.
not, then I'm going after your ass if we leave the game. So you keep playing your little petty games of deception with me and see what good it does you. I got the idol. Ha ha ha. I know it's only good for me one round, but maybe that can make a good alliance.
I
It's
wonder if
because it's got
I wonder if they knew that it was only good for one round prior to finding it. Because has that always been like that? I don't recall idols having so many conditions on them. It's like it's driving me nuts because I have to keep
and I
track of
can't
all these.
remember if it I can't remember if it said one round, but I'm saying in case that was the case because it moves so fast sometimes I have to go rewatch it to retain some of this stuff.
Well, me and you both. I mean, it's not like we were on the island sitting around all day thinking about this. We've only had 15 minutes to process it, and some of these guys that they're showing why they're so much smarter than me. I think I found my biggest weakness if I ever get on because there's just my God, it's just not as straightforward as it used to be. Um, and I don't know. Maybe
I'm
that's
not going
because
to get
we're.
heavy into this, but have you? I'm not going to get heavy into this because we're talking about the show. But have you sent in your audition yet?
Um, I haven't missed one in so long. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, my most recent one when I walked to Put in Bay to drop off my or to apply, I think that one would have been for the next one anyway. So probably I make at least two a season anyway. That's probably why they don't call me back there. So I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what they're looking for?
So, I haven't even got all. Don't laugh because I fell asleep last week. I worked two jobs.
That's all right.
Um, who is your favorite player so far? Because I'm not sure that Caleb's not mine right now. I think
Well,
Caleb's mine right now.
I guess I could pick somebody from each tribe. Truthfully, I mean, if I had to go with Lulu, the Yellow Tribe, I mean, well, let me write. Caleb or Sabaya just got voted off. I I mean, it's got to be Sean. They haven't really shown too much of. I mean, I guess I got to go with Emily. She's entertaining me, and there's just more to her. Caleb is all out there. You see everything up front. There's nothing to hide. Emily has layers. and we're getting to see different layers of her every episode, and I'm really enjoying that. And I hope Robin, if you're watching out there, I hope Robin is also enjoying this because that's her hometown girl, and she did not like her that first episode. If I had to pick a favorite player from the Blue Tribe, now keep in mind we don't know hardly anything about them because they haven't had to show anything. You know what I mean? They haven't gone to tribal or nothing like that. I don't even have a favorite. Maybe Katura, just because she's the only one standing up to Bruce. On the Red Tribe, God, I don't know. I really don't know who my favorite player would be on the Red Tribe. Maybe Drew's entertaining. I'm not digging his
Is
personality,
Drew
but
the one with the glasses? He looks
yeah,
like
he looks
is
like
Drew the
Napoleon
one with the
Dynamite.
glasses with
Yeah.
I know if he's watching this, I don't want him to think of this. Actually, while we're on here, I dare any of those players, or maybe they think they're too big for their pants, to find out who you and I are. I challenge any of them that watches this tonight that's still in the game to find us on Facebook.
I
Greg's
did. I
still.
actually, I actually
I
did.
dare them to. No, they always want us to come to them. Why don't they come to some of the older people that are some of the very first walk and talk and superfans
So
that were there that made this show and all the
yeah,
ones that followed after us?
I'm gonna
You
make
know,
a
me and you and a few others.
I'm gonna make a
I'm
confession real
big
quick.
headed.
I did talk to Brandon Donlin earlier, and I'm gonna talk to him again next week. I asked him if he wanted to come on and do this, and he said he can't do that right now, but I could talk to him basically off the record. So
Brandon, you know, I'm a live gamer. You know what I mean by that? What they call orgs. I've been
yeah,
playing them for over 14 years.
have you really? I've never
Live
played one.
endurance. I've beat 18-year-olds in live endurance challenges. Not like we're on the island, you know, in the
Yeah.
elements. But where one young man, 18, I was probably 67 or 68, and it was a squat challenge on your toes. And I did it for over 30 some minutes. He fell over, cried, and missed 2 days of work and couldn't get out of the bed for 2 days. So I've been using the org lands, which have made a lot of friends. I love them. I'm not going to sit here and call them dirtbags or anything because we put our heart and souls in these live games about our dreams.
Yeah.
Um, I use it to meet people from all over the country and all over the world. Strategically, it teaches me how to be social with all kinds of people of all ages and um, of all cultures in the world. We're all so many different cultures and blended families in the world. And I love meeting them.
Yeah.
I love meeting all the different people with all their sexualities, and they all treat me wonderful.
Yeah. Do you want to briefly tell
I'm not
everybody
going
what?
into any topic about each of those things, but I've met all the different things that are going on in the world from all of us.
Yeah. Do you want to briefly tell everybody how the Survivor org thing works? Because there's a lot of people that don't know anything about that.
I met Brandon was in one of my first games many years ago. He was in one of my games. I've played live with Brandon in the org. I don't remember the name of the org. I know there was me and a young man named Caleb that played in a game with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brandon was in, I think he went out second or third in that game.
Yeah.
But I mean, that wasn't like climbing a ladder or having to use. And what did he say he did? 50 or 100 push ups and all this stuff? What did he say? I'd love to
So
have him on camera asking him that one.
when I talked to him, he said he did train. Now his definition of training and yours or mine could be completely different, but I do owe him an apology because I was definitely like, you could have done the bare minimum amount of exercise, and he said he did. So I can't fault him for that. It just didn't come across. I mean, he only Survivor is not going to highlight, in an hour and a half, 2 hour and a half episodes. They're not going to highlight what a great job he did if he's the second one going home. You know what I mean? So who
Right.
knows? But I felt bad about
No,
that
he
because
was fun to watch. Great personality. His wit and humor about anything and everything at tribals were great. I just wish he had been more physically fit to go on the shows to work so hard for his
well,
dream.
what I told him is I said, they love redemption stories, and he's already got a foot in the door. I said, you need to go get absolutely just jacked, buff beyond belief, and come back, and I guarantee you that would give him a shot because if people are saying that's your biggest weakness, and
You'll probably see Brandon appearing on Big Brother. That's my thing.
oh, now there's an
No,
interesting
no, no, no,
prediction.
no, 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 no. There's rumor. There's no
Yeah,
rumor on that. Nobody
yeah,
has ever said that to me. I'm doing the prediction that with his personality and
huh?
Jesse and the type of people that Jesse seems to like, it wouldn't surprise me with that side of what he's got that you kind of saw. He could maybe manage maneuvering around a house the way he is in everyday life with the personality he's got in a house
Does so
on
Jesse
Big Brother.
he also casts for Big Brother? Jesse casts for
They
Big
looked
Brother?
at him for Big Brother before he ever got on Survivor, I think.
Huh. I didn't know that.
I can't I
Huh.
can't get them to give me the time of day.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, the life I've led, I guess I'm just worthless in their eyes.
Ugh.
Cop, bounty hunter, guard to president, screenplay after my life, mob, been on talk shows about, taking down a con artist husband, guard to president one day in my life, screenplay written about my life, sitting right there in LA years and years ago. I guess I'm not an interesting person. That's all
You
I got
know,
to say.
I the worst part about casting is you don't even know if they got your tape. You know what I mean? It's like it's just so frustrating not knowing. And even then, I was telling, I think it was Robin or maybe Devin last week, that there's a millisecond that if they see your tape at the right place at the right time, they'll put you on the show. You know what I mean? And for whatever reason, I guess we haven't had our millisecond. But what worries me about us is if they're only doing,
I'm just
out of
to tell it
18
like it
people.
is, chick. Like, like you're an adventurer across the world where I do funny stuff where I've got a really comical side, but I've got a deep serious side and a super social side. But like I do the Adventurous Date Challenge twice a year on YouTube. I don't
Yeah,
think you've ever seen it, but they're out there.
yeah. I
And how
just
about
worried.
the miracle story about my son that was special needs? The miracle story that's been out there since 1996 on YouTube. The special needs child, and the miracle was he wasn't special needs anymore. There's a lot more to that story when I hear about that.
Yeah,
But they always want a storyline. I've
yeah.
got about 20 storylines. Which one do they want when they talk to me?
I, I wish I had that magic answer. I really do. It drives me nuts. Trust me. I
What
want
do you
closure
think's
in the
going to
worst.
happen to Bruce in this game?
Well, before I say that, let me say this. Being that there's only two people over 40, that's my biggest concern for people like us. Because if you have 18 people, now you've just been reduced to two people per show. That's four people per year over 40. I mean, what are the odds that you're one of the four people? It's just so Bruce, I couldn't believe they brought him back, truthfully. He's the first returning player in what years? But I don't know. I was surprised they brought him back. It seems like he's like almost like seafood. Like he's a character. He's not. It doesn't. He's like not a real person. He's just pretending to be something. And I
Well,
don't know.
didn't
I
they?
don't.
Yeah,
I have. I'm
we
with
just saw.
Katura. I'm ready to get rid of Bruce. Katura is,
Um,
is is that's why I think I like her because she's willing to get rid of Bruce.
Yeah, well, they kind of did a clip about his name was mentioned for next week. Like maybe that's a sign that they're going to lose. They just
Well,
did a short clip, and I saw Bruce's name being brought up.
one
They're
thing we
just
do
jealous
know.
because he was on the show before. I don't even count him being on the show before as even counting this season. He wasn't there long enough.
Long enough,
I
yeah.
mean, I get that. Yeah, he was on the show. Yeah, I get that he was on the show. Okay.
Well, we
Well, they
know.
brought other people back.
Yeah, we know that Lulu is not going to go home next week because they're not merging switching up tribes. So I assume, I don't know. You think they'll give them all new names, or they're just disbanding because there's only, you know, three people left basically. Yeah, Sherry says new tribes next
I
week. Oh,
thought
so
they
they'll
were
have
going to
all.
do. I thought that they were going to do something about having two on each of the other tribes tonight, or breaking down their numbers, taking one of each off, or something.
Yeah.
Me and my sister were saying we thought they might do it tonight, but they didn't.
Yeah. Well, now that they're down to so low numbers, it's well, they had to do something. You know what I mean? That Lulu losing that immunity challenge was the longest, saddest thing I've ever seen in production. It was just
It was sad
slow and sad, and the music was
because
long and drawn out. It's like, good God! I mean, they've got to develop some of these other characters because they're running out of people. You know what I mean? These people aren't going to be around forever. Um, but
and they're
hey,
gonna.
what
You watch one night, they'll have a double tribal council. You watch. I bet you there's going to be a night or so where they have a double tribal council.
that's funny you said that. You know how Amazing Race sometimes they'll do this is a non-elimination round. I thought they were going to do that tonight. I really did. I don't know why I thought that. It doesn't make sense, and I don't know of Survivor really ever doing that. So one of the hardcore fans in the comment section, they would remember that. Robin or Sherry would remember that. My brain is just that episode was just I have to watch it 2 or 3 times probably just to make sense out of it because it was so crazy. There's just too much going on. Too many twists, too many new things, and at the end,
Well, let me ask: do you like the new Survivor, or do you like the old school Survivor?
I'm a purist. I think I like the old school. Keep it simple. It's easier to follow on TV. I like them taking chances, and I like them doing different things and making it interesting. I'm fine with that. But I think they've done a poor job in the past of explaining the different types of just angles and
Well, see, now
clues and
when you get sent about anything away from your tribe, even if you win something, like you're on a tribe and maybe you were just, like your tribe wins and somebody's got to be delegated to do something. Now they come back and they're always a target.
yeah.
So you know what? I don't want to go.
Well, I thought it was
Let them
smart
go.
last episode that they sent Brandon because you knew he was going to come back and they were going to, just he's not really one to. He was trustworthy. You knew he came back when he came back. He was going to tell you exactly what he found out. Sending Caleb, I don't know. I don't know about that one. But I mean, you had to send somebody. So they get the tribal, and Sabaya's melting that thing, and they're just going on like this is a normal thing. It was kind of anticlimactic. Um, I don't think she realized that her idol was essentially a no vote or a you could only use it one time or you could extend it. I guess she didn't know that was going to happen. I
Well, she
I
definitely didn't know what was going to happen.
I mean, God, I don't know how I would have played that. I really don't. I I
I would have played my eye, and I'm not just saying that
well,
because
she knew
just
she didn't need
because
to.
they they had just brought Emily in on this idea with Caleb, and Emily had been shunned the whole time. So there you got a person that's been shunned, and then suddenly you got two players. Aha! They're reaching out to you. Warning signs. You can't go anywhere with players like that. Warning signs.
Yeah. Look,
I would. So I don't know why Sabaya had that much. Didn't think that much into what she had done. You have to think out of the box. Well, this is what I did to them, so this could be what they're thinking, even though I'm relaying this information. You have to take every situation and think about what your angle is, what you were like before in the situation with that individual, and how that individual can come back and smack you right in the face. And
well,
that's
she got
exactly what
smacked.
happened to
She
somebody.
got smacked right in the face, didn't she? The crazy thing is, I don't know that I would have
But
done
she,
anything different. I mean, I think she unfortunately just was in a situation. I mean, she obviously didn't read Caleb or Emily very well, but Caleb and Emily played it really cool. I mean, I don't fault her. I really don't. It's I appreciate a good
no, that was a
blindside,
smart
but
move on Emily's part. And I was hoping that I wouldn't doubt Caleb. I was hoping that Caleb wouldn't be stupid and believe Sabaya,
I thought
because
he
the whole thing of Can't you tell when suddenly a player that's been kind of docile? I mean, not that she didn't talk; she said whatever she wanted to. They play docile, and then they come out of the box. That means the cat's meow. That means there's a growl in there. Don't trust anything that's out of the norm in another player. They've kind of got you can get vibes of how they play, and then suddenly they're a little overkill from what how they've carried themselves with that individual the whole time. That's your warning sign. That's when you protect yourself,
Yeah.
and
So
that's what
Sherry
she
just
didn't
said
do.
that they're going to draw for buffs, which is really
I
interesting
wish I could
because
read all the stuff.
oh yeah, it comes by pretty quick on here. So Sherry's saying they're drawing buffs for tribes, which I don't know. I don't know if I want them previously selecting tribes or if I want them just being random or not. That whenever they do these tribe swaps, it's like, oh man, now I have to relearn the tribe dynamics because it's so hard to keep track of. What are we down to? 15 people now, something like that. So yeah, 15 people. So two tribes. One will be 7, one will be 8. Is that right?
How many's on the other tribes right now?
6 and 6 is 12, and then 3 are left, right?
And they've lost 3.
So that's 15. So somebody's gonna have an
So
odd number. Oh, you know what? I bet you they'll do something like that odd man out. They'll get to choose the tribe that they want to be on. One of the or how did they do it? They did that one other time. Something where they
couldn't they do the tribes and then one's going to be sent away that's not chosen to be on a tribe,
like
but
Exile
have
Island.
safety from tribal?
What wasn't that Exile
Yeah, I
Island?
mean, couldn't they do something like that?
Yeah. Oh man. I hope they do something
Like,
with this odd number. I really do.
like if there's a tribe thing next week and there's 3 of them, 1 and 1 could go on a tribe. Let's see, there's 12, 14, 12,
You're gonna
15.
have you're gonna have 7 or 8.
They can have 2 tribes.
I don't know. Well, you know what? They said tribe swap, but they didn't say. I don't think Sherry did. They say it was only 2 tribes because they could break them into 3. You could have what? Oh, then you would have 5, 5, and 5. You would have a even number of people on each team. Now that would be interesting. It's almost like the game starts over.
Yep,
You're
or you
right.
could
Why
have 2
didn't Caleb
tribes of
take the?
7 and one, and then they could have 2 tribes of 7 with one being sent away somewhere. Be safe from tribals or anything. And then
Okay.
whoever lost a member at tribal, that would be the tribe they might go on.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Sherry, I want to have you on here next week or the week after because you're really challenging me to think of things that I haven't thought of, and I love it. Sherry just said that why didn't Caleb take the flint when he was over there? Because remember the Yellow Tribe, Lulu, they didn't even have fire. They didn't have flint. When he went over to steal whatever he wanted to take and he took the fishing gear, why wouldn't he take flint? I cannot believe I didn't think of that. I'm like mad at myself for not thinking, especially he knew that Sabaya had the melting thing. That never crossed his mind, really. I cannot believe that he'd rather have fishing equipment. Why would you choose fishing equipment? What are you going to catch a fish and eat it raw? No fire? How did I
Good
not
point.
think of that? My brain is going to explode from tonight's episode.
Oh, it's all kinds of stuff you think of later after you get away. Like I would have done this if I'd have been on the island, or I probably would have
What the?
done that if I was so and so. And
They've
I
gone.
take everything, and I take everything after the show for a day or so in my head. I mean, I don't dwell on it, but I think of another angle of what it could have been done. Like if I was in a show and this happened, and I try to figure out like what I would do, and that's how I do in the games. It's helped me. That's why they call me the queen. I was the first queen of. I was like
Well,
Sandra, the first queen of orgs
I've
before they even. I'll never forget it. I started crying when they called me queen the first time. Back when they first used the word ever for the first time.
yeah.
It's an
I
honor, but now
I think
they call a lot of people queens.
I think what I need to do after watching this is rewatch it. That's all there is to it because there's just so much that I'm missing, I'm forgetting, I'm not grasping that is making me just I like Zuri just said, Caleb didn't take the Flint. Why would he have not? I cannot think of a scenario that would have made sense. That the Lulu tribe was on, I believe, day 7 with no fire, which I believe is a record. Why on God's green earth would that not be the first thing you would take? I mean, did they just assume they were going to get fire anyway? Did he know that they were going to lose?
Well, now there's two ways of looking
Did they
at it.
throw
They
the
haven't had a
challenge?
lot of they hadn't until Lulu won, the reward, they hadn't had a lot of food. So
But he could
now
have
they got
taken
a lot of
food.
food.
He didn't, but he took fishing, and he didn't even take all the fishing equipment. He only took. He even asked them. He was like, "Well, we'll leave you with the spears or something." It's like, well, if you're gonna take something, why wouldn't you take the whole thing? I mean, maybe he likes sushi. That's the only logical thing I can think of right now. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense why he would do that. And Sabaya, wouldn't he? They were in a tight alliance. Why wouldn't she say to him, "Hey, we could use a little Flint over here"? I mean, I realize they don't boil water anymore, so that's not crucial. As crucial as it would have
Well,
been in
why
the
aren't they
past.
trying to start a fire with sticks? I'm not trying to be crazy. Why aren't they showing any footage with that tribe at least trying to start a fire?
Glow,
Because
glow, we're
you can start a
glow.
fire rubbing sticks.
We are showing our age. They haven't had somebody start a fire with anything other than Flint and gasoline in I don't know how many seasons. It's been a while since we've seen somebody with glasses or with just rubbing sticks together. It's been a long time since we've seen something like that. I mean, Survivor
It's
isn't
sort of
about surviving. We all know that. However, it would be interesting if I don't know, once in a blue moon they had a naturalist on there or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. You know what I've learned tonight, Glow talking to you, is that I need to rewatch this episode because they have made a fool out of me tonight. I mean, jeez, old Pete's. It was just too much.
well, we could give a better show after it's on a few weeks and we know the more characters because
Yeah,
they put so much input on the Lulu tribe. We only get little snaps of the others that we can't really know what's going on with them hardly.
and it's funny, and that's with them giving us 90-minute episodes as opposed to 60 minutes in the past. So we're getting more information than we would normally get previously, and it's still just so hard to. I mean, we're never going to know everything, that's fair, but to not know, like, oh man, that was wild. So while I got you here, give me a prediction on who you think is going to win the game, or who do you think's going home next, either
Who do I think's going home next?
or who do you think's going to win the game?
If Lulu, if they don't do anything to Lulu, Caleb and Emily will stick together.
Well, if they're going into two tribes, that means two of them are going to end up on a tribe together, and then one of them's the odd man out.
Well, if either one of them, if they get broken up singly, any of them's going to be the odd man out.
Yeah. Well, it's
But
it's
I'd like
very
to see it
possible.
where they went. I'd like to see it where they
Sure.
at least two of them get together on a tribe and survive.
Yeah. Sherry, I was screaming at my TV too, and I'm screaming at my live stream because I'm like, I cannot believe some of the things I'm not thinking of. So
What's
what
Sherry's last name?
I tried to catch it. I think it was Buis. I'm gonna message her after we get off here. Because she's great. She always her and Robin, those two are wonderful. They always make me think of things I don't normally think of.
Tell
And
them to look me up if they're not my friends on Facebook. I'd love to meet some of these new
yeah,
players and their opinions.
I'll do that. I'll do that for sure. Before we get off here, though, you got to give me your prediction. Who you think's going home next, and who you think's winning.
I don't think Caleb will go home next. I don't think Emily will go home next. If Lulu doesn't break up and they lose, it'll be the other guy. I can't think of his
Sean.
name.
Sean. Yeah.
But
Okay.
I think that I don't think Bruce's. I think Bruce's name is being thrown around in the captions, but I don't think he'll. I don't have any idea of who to name. Who I think will go next on those two tribes. I have no feedback of information in this show yet that could tell me even a suggestion.
Yeah.
But I want to get to
Occasionally.
know that girl that prays a lot or something.
Who was that? Who was that? Girl that prays a lot. I didn't catch that one.
I mean, maybe that's just my. She's got black jet hair. Pretty girl.
Um, is she black or white?
I don't know. She's just beautiful. She
Oh,
don't look black. She don't look white. She looks.
um,
Um, God knows I don't want to say something culturally that'll
well,
make me think I'm
J
insulting them
Maya
when I don't
maybe, is
mean it
she
that way.
Indian? The Indian singer J Maya.
Might be the one.
Um,
You said Indian.
yeah, she's like Indian, I believe, if it's the one I'm thinking of.
I want to get to know her.
Yeah.
And don't forget to put a challenge out for all of these survivors to look me and you up. I dare them.
Yeah. Um, last question. What happens if Jeff Probst retires? Does the show end or do they find somebody else?
Me or you, or we both co-host it.
Yeah.
I like that answer.
You like I like that too. You know, my honest answer with that is, and I don't know where I saw this the other day, but it really made me think twice about it. If God forbid Jeff Probst quits or something happens, whatever, or if ratings dip in the 3 million range, I think that they would continue the show, but instead of putting it on, you know, Wednesday night or primetime TV, I think they would put it on their pay per view kind of Peacock app channel or something like that, or Hulu, Netflix special, where they release all the episodes at once. I think that before they cancel Survivor, one of those two things is probably more likely to happen.
Have they come close to canceling Survivor and I didn't know about it?
I don't know that they've come close, but when I first met you 15 years ago, and if you would have said, Greg, they're going to do another 20 seasons, I believe I met you around season 19. If you would have told me they're going to do another 20 plus seasons at that time, I would have said no way. But they made Jeff a producer, so now he gets producer credits, and I think they give him a lot more, sway and leeway, so it keeps him around. But by the same token, one year they did a preview, and the preview gave away something that happened in one of the episodes. And I remember him getting on like Twitter or something, and just like him being like, "Are you kidding me? Why would you guys do that?" But he didn't have any say in it because he didn't have enough power. And I'm thinking, how do you, of all
Okay,
people,
well,
not?
I'm nervy. I'm nervy. I'm nervy enough to do this in your show tonight. Nothing bad. I challenge Jesse Tannenbaum, and Jeff Probst to meet me and or you live on Skype.
Okay,
And I mean, they don't have to promise about getting us and just talk to us. I challenge them. I
I
challenge them. What do they?
so that would be a miracle. But my goal, when I
Nothing's
was,
a miracle if you don't ask for it. If that see that don't cut the positivity out about what you throw out. So
yeah,
don't call it a miracle. Say, Glow, that would be wonderful. If you
yeah,
shoot it down to positivity, it'll never happen.
Glow, that would be wonderful. You know what I
I
wanted
dare
to
them.
do?
I said not just for
What I really wanted to do after when I thought I would meet him when I was walking through the live finale, season 41, 2 years ago, what I wanted to do is when I met him is challenge him to a fire making challenge live on Instagram or something. And if I beat him in a fire challenge, I get on the show. If I don't, then that's it. And I thought, man, I'll just let fate run its course. But I never got my 5 minutes with him because of that stupid bus crash. You know.
when I was Survivor Guru Glow at a reality event in New York, Rupert, um, Sandra Diaz Twine, Russell Hans, Coach Wade, all of them were up there. I got a standing ovation when I walked in the door and Russell came over and gathered me up.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, um, at an after party after the finale, I was in a place in New York. I don't remember the place, what it was named, and I was out on the balcony. Sandra had been there. I love her. I love her to death.
Yeah.
Long
I
story,
just
but
met her last month. So
so I know Sandra. Sandra's even called me before, and there's
yeah.
pictures of me and Sandra, and we're called the Queens together. But anyway, so much about the me, 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 me. So I'm upstairs, and a good friend of mine says, Mark Burnett's right down there by the stairs, Glow. You're a super fan. You go down and meet him. I look down the stairs, downstairs in this where we were at this event, standing right there, like if you look down your stairwell. I said, I want to go meet Mark Burnett. I don't suck up to him. And if I walk up to shake his hand, some newspaper will take a caption and say Survivor Guru's Bleg is begging Mark Burnett to be on the show. I says, I don't beg anybody for anything. And I
Yeah.
refused to go downstairs and meet Mark Burnett. I don't mean he asked for me or anything. He probably didn't even know I existed. But they could not believe that I wouldn't go down and meet Mark Burnett. And I didn't.
You want to
And
hear a
I
funny
saw him just
story?
like watching the TV.
So
I,
he
I don't believe in sucking up the big shot.
yeah. So funny story about Mark Burnett. He was at a local church, this huge church we have here in Cincinnati, and he was coming to promote his movie Passion of the Christ or something like that. I can't remember. And I put a tent on top of my car, and it was like -5 degrees at night. I camped out all night, so I would be the first one in there. And right in the middle of the pastor doing the show, he brought Mark Burnett up on stage, and he said, "All right, there was one guy that was here last night. Mark doesn't have time to meet and greet with everybody here, but there was one guy that camped out last night. His name's Greg Enso. Greg, come on down." And so he invited me up on stage in front of like 1,000 people, and I took a selfie with him and his wife, Roma Downey. Is that his wife?
Romy.
Yeah,
Roma
yeah,
Downey.
yeah. And so I got a picture
They're
with both
really
of
big
them.
into
And what was
Yep.
so
She's
funny
for
is
real.
afterwards, I didn't even get to say 2 words to him. The pastor just brought me up to take a selfie in front of everyone, and I want to tell him my daggone story. So they started praying, and then the pastor was looking at me like he was going to shoo me off stage, and I was like, I ain't going nowhere. Like I want 5 minutes of this guy's time, and he ended up running out the back. But it was that was the only time I ever met him, and it was like, man, I met the guy, and I bet he doesn't know anything about my story. How freaking disheartening, you know? I've come so close, a few times, Glow, but whatever. Whatever.
I've been
Um,
to LA and I've met big shots all over the world. I've met big shots online talking to me. I've met big shots in New York,
yeah.
in LA.
You ever meet Jeff Probst
I don't
in your
treat them any
journeys?
different. I don't.
Did,
No, I've
did
met
you
his mother several times. Really
really?
nice lady.
That's funny you said that. When I was walking across the country this last time, or the second to last time, I was up around. I was entering Arizona, and a friend of mine said, "Hey, I'm friends with Jeff Probst's mom. You should head down to Phoenix and say hi to her." And I was like, "Well, if you can get a hold of her in the next couple days, I'll start heading that way. Otherwise, I'm going to head straight across. Basically, I-40 is what I was walking along." And he didn't hear back from her in time. But otherwise, yeah, I would love to have met her. Why not?
She's a lovely woman. Jeff's
Yeah,
got a lovely mother. I
yeah,
mean, I don't know if Mr. Probst where they are today. Like, I don't know if they're alive or what. I don't
yeah,
know, but all I can say is Mrs. Probst was a lovely woman.
yeah.
Lovely, lovely woman.
I guess he's got a couple brothers too that maybe have. I don't think they have anything to do with the show, but I'm sure people hassle them all the time. Like, hey, can you get me on the show? Blah blah blah. And I've never even Googled Jeff Probst. I just assume I want to know as little about him as possible. So, God forbid that as soon as I finally get to meet him,
I
I'll
got a story I'll tell you, but I'm not going to tell it live here for my own reason. But I
yeah,
got a story with two people to tell you related to Survivor that will blow your mind.
yeah. Okay. So in a second here, I'm
But
going
I
to get
can't.
off, and you're going to tell me that story. But before I do that, Survivor gossip. One more thing. Did you see or hear about Russell Hantz sending out Wendell's phone number on Twitter? He sent a screenshot and posted it. Did you hear about that?
No, I sure didn't.
He just did it yesterday on, ironically, Russell's birthday. So apparently, Russell had sent Wendell like kind of a crappy message, and Wendell got on Twitter and posted a screenshot of that message. And Russell's like, I'm the biggest snake. You ain't gonna outdo me. And so he ends up putting Wendell's phone number on the internet. And I thought, oh my god. So then after that, Russell posted his own phone number on there. But oh gosh, what? Uh,
Well, Russell used to love me. Russell found me on Facebook, when I was his friend and I was reporting Survivor Weekly. And he said, Glow, you need to call me. I said, I'm not calling you. And he said, I'm the real Mr. Evil, back in those days.
Yeah.
And he said, give me your number, I'll call you. Because Glow said, I'm not calling you, Russell. I know who you are and I don't care. And he called me, but then an incident happened with something I did in a video to Russell where he didn't want much to do with Glow no more. Because remember my words, I don't suck up
Oh well,
to
he's one you got to
anybody.
suck up to. He's if you don't suck up to him, you don't want
No,
nothing
no,
to do
no,
with
no, 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 no. He's a suck up. Glow is not a suck up. And I took care of it. There's a story behind it, but I'm not going to do it here on
Yeah.
YouTube for the whole world to see.
All
It's
right.
over and done with, but I will tell you that story.
All right. I'm getting off here right now. I want to hear that story. Sherry, do me a favor. I'm going to message you or you message me because I want to have you on here because I love the way you think. All right. Everybody, thanks for watching. Glow, I really
Hey,
appreciate
hit
it.
me,
And
hit me on Facebook. Hit me on Facebook when you get off real quick.
perfect. I'll do that right now.
Adios,
Peace.
fans. Adios.
Thank you.